Welcome, ladies and germs. Today we'll be taking a look at Minecraft Dungeons. It's a new game from Mojang and Microsoft's Xbox Studios. Minecraft Dungeons is an ARPG title based within the Minecraft universe, borrowing the art style, monsters, lore, and NPCs while building a multitude of new and interesting mechanics and items. Now, if you're like me, you may be wondering, well, what does Minecraft have to do with ARPGs and dungeons? I like my Diablos, I like my Path of Exiles, I like demons killing things, lots of blood and gore, and large complexity and adult themes in my ARPGs. And you know what, you might be right. However, you may be wondering, then why does Minecraft Dungeons exist? Is it just Mojang and Microsoft's attempt at a cash grab to get into the ARPG genre using Minecraft's name and just get a quick buck? Amazingly, no, it's not. A Minecraft Dungeons presents itself as a surprisingly competent ARPG. It features tight controls, loads of customization, exploration, and skills, items, different builds, and honestly, it's a tight combat. It's a very pleasant surprise. And is it the best ARPG of 2020? Well, let's find out, shall we? So here we are, we entered the Minecraft Dungeons. We're presented at the main screen here. We have a couple of heroes already available to select. I have my main hero here, a secondary hero I like to play with some other friends, and you can make maybe up to 3, you might be able to make more, who knows. Plenty of options. You can clone a character if you want to continue progression in different ways, which that's kind of a cool option. And then you have your skin option, which is basically just different skins. They have no bearings on your class or gameplay. Purely for customization, you pick and choose and play whatever you want. Of course, we're going to go with basic Minecraft Steve here. We'll select that. Down here you have the options for online or offline game. Selecting online game brings up your friends list, lobbies you can join, and your lobby if you've started one, and who's in your party. You have accessibility options. You guys know Minecraft is great at providing different accessibility options. You have outline colors for those that may have particular colorblind options, subtitles, text to speech for hearing impairment. Settings, you have game controller. This has full controller support, by the way. You can view and customize all the controls, very nice. There are dead zone adjustment ratios and percentages, which is incredible. More games really need to have this amount of customization. Is nice to see in a game like this. Graphics are nothing too crazy. You have your display modes, full, borderless, or windowed. You can adjust brightness. The graphics is basically just between, fast, balanced, and super fancy. Advanced graphics, you have an FPS limiter, VSync. There's a FPS counter, which more games need to have. Honestly, that's very good to have that in there. And a couple of post-processing options between ambient occlusion, anti-aliasing, shadow quality, particles, and bloom. And you have credits, intro video, outro, accessibility, and log out. We're not going to do that right now. We'll go ahead and head on into the game here. Select an offline one and go on in. Now, I've already progressed and beat the game once on this character, so there's some things that may be slight spoilery. I'm just warning you ahead of time right now. Now, when you enter your camp here, this is basically your base in between combat missions. And I must say, people may not like the blocky Minecraft art style, and I know this is built on Unreal 4, but man, this game looks truly beautiful. I really do. The way they've interpreted and imported over the Minecraft block art style and just managed to work on smoothing everything, and the textures and the lighting effects and the shadows really makes everything just look really beautiful, if I'm honest. As you progress through the game, you will unlock these traders, which I have unlocked. Once you beat the game, you don't have to re-unlock them, which is very nice. And there are explorable options and things to check out throughout this land here. I'm not going to spoil too much, but there's secrets hidden everywhere. for those keen and brave enough to go and adventure out for them. Here, there's DPS dummies that you can hit and test your options on. Each character has a melee weapon, ranged weapon. You have 3 slots for your artifacts, inventory, health in the middle, potion, map, and this right here is your roll ability, which is nice to have, honestly. I think this game draws a lot of inspiration from Diablo 3, but in a good way. It takes a lot of the good parts of D3, and I thought D3 on console has a roll ability which I think would fit really nicely into D3 for PC, but they'll never do it. So I'm glad to see that they have it added in here. And over here is your arrow quiver, amount of arrows you have, which are not infinite, by the way. They are limited, but they're not super rare to find, so blast away, friends. One thing I will say, which shows a surprising amount of competence in these developers, are the options for rooting yourself, which is great to have in an ARPG, as well as different roll directions. Now by default it's set on forward roll, which is a little strange if you're a PC player because it rolls you in the direction you're facing, basically. Now I get it, because if you were on a console then that makes sense. It would be something that would go naturally with the controller. However, if you're a keyboard mouse player and you want to, I would suggest changing this over to directional roll. And what this will do is make you roll wherever your mouse cursor is facing. As you can see here, I'm facing forward, but my mouse cursor is backwards. It allows me to roll backwards. Very nice. It allows you to do some good maneuvers like charging your bow up, shooting it forward, and immediately rolling backwards or to the side, or whichever way you may need to do. Very handy to have, and I'm glad they have these kind of options in there. The only thing I would say is a force move would be really nice to have. However, it's not entirely, well, some will argue that it's mandatory in ARPGs, but you can work around it, I suppose. And then we'll get to the guts and meats of it, the inventory and skill system. Now, skills in this game come in the form of artifacts. Now, artifacts, there are plenty of artifacts. There are ones that do damage, there are buffing artifacts, there are artifacts that summon pets like my handy dandy wolf over there. And there's a multitude of artifacts, and you can explore and do as many things as you want. There are ones that give you speed, there are ones that knock back, ones that summon llamas, there are regen supporting totems, there are this one is basically phase shift, if you're familiar with Ghost Walk, sorry, the Witch Doctor Ghost Walk from Diablo 3. This one's there's jumps, there's stuns, there's all kinds of stuff. And then the one thing I do like about this game is there are soul-based artifacts which work much like the Vol artifacts from Path of Exile. They require you to gather souls in order to use them, and they're generally pretty powerful. You can have a lot of build diversity with where you decide to go, how you decide to go. There's quiver types that boast your attacks for your ranged, and there's all kinds of stuff. As far as equipment goes, there are 3 slots, which you may scoff at first, which, I mean, I get that. 3 may seem a little when you have games that nowadays have 13, 14 slots for your inventories. But however, you have a slot for melee weapons, a slot for armor, and a slot for your bow, or your ranged weapon. Now, every melee weapon, to my knowledge, has a distinct feel to it, and there's plenty of melee weapons. There are daggers, which are fast, axes, which have AoE effects to them, and your melee weapons have different effects to them. They have power ratings, speed ratings, and area ratings, as you can see, as well as the damage they do based on the level they have. And the way this game's progression works, as you can tell, is as you level, you gain enchantment points, and enchantment points are used to enchant your weapons and armor. A particular piece of equipment has a chance to roll up to 3 enchantment slots, and each one of those slots will have 3 random enchantments. So there in itself is part of the progression of power system in the game. you kind of want to hunt, and as you hunt and go through, you'll see which enchantments you like, but at the same time you'll see new ones, new combos, and you want to try them out. Now you have, as you go in here, you spend your points to upgrade these. They all have up to 3 levels to upgrade. You can only choose one of these, however, so be careful when you do choose, because you could ruin a very good weapon with a very bad enchant. But there is a multitude of different types of enchants. Some of them are particular to different types of weapons. For example, bows will come with rapid fire, or they'll come with piercing arrows or knockback arrows, which obviously you won't see on a melee weapon, which thank God. But some of these will also be known as powerful types, which will generally have greater effects and are more desired, but they will cost more enchantment points to level. Now, as an example here, you may be wondering, well, how does the enchantment system work then? In that case, do you lose your points permanently? And thankfully, you do not lose your stuff permanently once you choose to enchant. I'm gonna keep these, but I'm gonna choose one to scrap real quick. We'll get rid of these. No, we'll get rid of. Has some really good weapons actually. This is fun to get rid of. So, as you enchant something, and one thing I will applaud these games developers for, that you can salvage it, and as you see, you will completely get back all the enchantment points you spent on it, on top of some emeralds as well. Now that's good because it promotes diversity, and it doesn't punish you for wanting to experiment, and it doesn't pigeonhole you into one entire build that you just kind of stuck with because you invested so much into. Which is great, and I love it. It lets you be very flexible and switch things around. So I'll salvage this as an example. You see, I got my points back, and I can just go and check everything out. Very awesome. The different armor types all have the health stat, and each armor type comes with its own set of tertiary stats. For example, this one gives a weapon boost and health potions. This one gives a weapon boost aura and it gives you a pet bat. There are ones that tailor more to a ranged combat if that's what you want to do. There are ones that tailor more towards using artifacts for damage if that's you want to go a caster type spec or a melee type spec. You can do whatever you want, really. You just have to find the gear for it. There are 3 types of rarities for equipment in this game. There are common, rare, and uniques, which are your legendaries from Diablo, if you're familiar with those. And the legendaries always come with their own set legendary affix, so to speak. This one has increased fire rate, which is very good because this bow in particular fires, I want to say it fires faster than most any crossbow that I've come across. So your 2 basic bow types are crossbows and bows, and within those there's a multitude of different types of bows and crossbows. So that is your basic layout system. Inventory system, as you can see, and then we'll head over to the maps. And I gotta say, I do really love the design of this map. I think it looks simple, but it's elegant. There are small little details as these minecarts moving around here in the redstone mines. As you can see, the minecart will head in and it'll dump off its payload, and it'll come back over here and pick up some more. It's a nice little detail, nice blocky kind of art style that Minecraft is known for. This is the median secondary playthrough, as you can see on adventure. As you go up in difficulty, you unlock new gear. It's very Diablo-esque in that effect. If you're familiar with vanilla Diablo 3, you have to beat it on a certain difficulty in order to progress to the next difficulty, right? So it started on default, and we're on adventure now, and I believe you can freely switch it as you want. And in order to get to Apocalypse, you have to beat it a second time, and you'll end up there. And on your second playthrough, all the lands are unlocked, but on your first playthrough, you'll go through and you will unlock. So this might be mild spoilers, but you will go through and you will unlock different zones and progress through the story. Down here you can see they have some DLC planned. I'm assuming it'll be in this area, but we'll see. Who knows? But they do a good job of representing the different biomes, I believe, in Minecraft here. And there's just nice little details from the village burning over here and Squid Coast to the swamps and the torches and the pastures. It just looks beautiful. I like it. There's a ton of secrets too. Once you beat the game the first time, a lot of secret areas will unlock for you. And that is another thing it borrows from Diablo that I think is a plus. The procedural map. No, the maps are not the same every time, and they'll take that cue from Diablo, where they'll have secret like side areas that will populate some areas but not other areas. It adds to the replayability, gives you an incentive to go back and play through it again. Siri, nobody's talking to you. Thanks. Sorry about that, guys. But yes, so you click on an area here and you have a difficulty slider that you can adjust to your own. The game will set you at a particular spot that matches your power. As you can see here, my recommended power, and this is my power. And you can decrease this as you want, and it'll give you a general rough idea of the difficulty here, or you can increase it as you want, and we always increase. And you can make the game as hard as you want for yourself. Now obviously I like to grind, so I'm kind of towards the end of the spectrum here for some of these earlier stages, because I've been playing multiple times of each stage just to see. And down here you can see the artifacts you can get and the gear drops you can get from a particular stage. They change with each stage, as you can see. Artifacts and gear changes. There's even some I still gotta get, which is very nice in case you're trying to hunt something in particular. Up here there's also a story, gives you a little bit of backdrop to what's going on. Really beautiful, and it's nice to have a little bit of story like that. I really do appreciate that. The music in this game and the sound design is just incredible. Just take a listen here. Really low and understated, and it's done well, and it fits right in, I think. I really do appreciate this. But anyways, that's basically it for the main overview for Minecraft Dungeons, guys. I will be doing a kind of a short form playthrough of a dungeon for you guys if you want to check that out. The gameplay is surprisingly tight. It's competent. I mean, I recommend it, obviously. If you're an ARPG player, then I do recommend you go through and you play this out a bit. I'll go ahead and I'll start a small stage just to give you an example of the combat real quick. We're loading into Creepy Crypt here. Certain ghost type. So you can see I'm getting towards the end of the power curve for this area, so I'm doing particularly well. I have a bow that speeds me up. I've got these daggers that are insane. They just fit my playstyle. I like to go in and just mongo things, you know what I mean? Like stand in their face and blow shit up. That's kind of how I like to play ARPGs. So that's the good part about this game, is you can tailor it to whatever you want to play. It's entirely freeform and not class based, but rather based on your gear. And you gotta be careful of those creepers, because I almost died. Oh yeah, we've encountered an elite pack. The way this game handles elite packs, I think, is pretty brilliant, and it's according to lore. If you've ever played Minecraft, you know you'll encounter monsters that do have enchanted armor or enchanted gear. That's basically how this game sells it off, is those monsters are enchanted. We got quite a big pack here, and the way the monsters work together in their own respect, I think is pretty brilliant. I think it says a lot to the care and attention that the developers have put in to making this a somewhat competent, not somewhat actually, a pretty competent ARPG. There's a lot of unison and synergy between monster packs. You know, you may have these little trash enemies, but when they, like spiders, are really nothing on their own, but when you group them up with creepers, or you group them up with the wraiths that throw fire at you, you know, the spiders will root you and then you get caught in the fire, and it can lead to a very quick and painful death. And it's something that I really enjoy. There's small events here, there's beautiful lighting. We're about to frick some dudes up. Oh shoot. Most of these are mob events. There are bosses as well, which I do like quite a bit. The boss battles can be pretty challenging, especially you start to group up a bunch of your friends and it gets hectic, to say the least. It turns into a really good time. But as you would expect, the later levels in the game do get harder as you progress through the story. This is one of the... Oh wow. Lots of creepers. We're gonna want to back out from those as much as we can. The creepers will do a ton of damage to you. And they can be a bit of an annoying... They can be an annoyance to deal with, to say the least. Some things never change, huh? See what I mean? I got a spider that rooted me in that fire, dude. That can be a big problem. And there's random consumables you can pick up, much like that shadow potion that renders you invisible for a limited time. The attacks coming out of it cause you to crit, which are a nice change of pace. We have another small event here. I'm just kind of owning it up, dude. My build is pretty strong right now. I'm gonna be sad when I have to get rid of these things. But oh, we have a friend. Another consumable type of item is TNT as well. It's a one-time use. Basically, it's like a giant grenade. Want to be careful though, because it will kill you in one shot, and it will also kill your friends if you're playing on multiplayer. So it does give you a nice indicator of AoE there. We are just tearing stuff up, dude. And I do kind of rather like the kind of Zelda effects they have here. It's pretty neat. There's a strength potion you can get as well, which basically just gives you double damage for a while. It's incredibly strong. Oh no. We gotta go, boy. There's a callback feature on the pet, which I think is brilliant. More games need that. There's plenty of games that have pet features, and you just can't control the pets in any ways. Oh, there are treasure goblins in this game as well. I think is another D3 callback as well. So this game does take a lot of inspiration from Diablo 3. But that's not a bad thing. We've completed the dungeon, and now we just gotta make it to the end. of the map here to get out. So that was actually one of the side dungeons that are unlocked. You have to play through the stage in order to unlock them. And once you do unlock it, you can visit it as a special side area. It's nice because it's shorter than a regular map. Although, granted, I didn't explore everything, but I could have. So you have the different villager enemy types here, and we're just tearing them down, dude. There's an evoker types, which is another interesting type of enemy. They're definitely high priority. If you let them, they'll empower enemies around them and start to summon different enemies, and it becomes an enormous pain. So that was Minecraft Dungeons. And that was just a short run to show you guys kind of a bit of a gameplay here. Surprisingly tight, surprisingly competent, and honestly, I'm having a blast playing it, and I'm gonna get to the end game and I'm gonna let you guys know what I really think about it. And here we have a character completion screen. You know, once you beat the game, it gives you a bit of stats here. If you have multiple players, it'll let you know everybody's stats here. And once you beat the game, the level, sorry, not the game, you get a chest that has a chance to give you random something. That's typically higher level than the stuff you're finding in the match, so it's nice. That's it for me, guys. What would I rate this game? Honestly, as an ARPG, 8 out of 10, but that's to be seen. The game, it looks great, it runs well, it's tight, it's optimized. The skills are meaningful, the gear choices are meaningful, you feel everything. Every time you put on a new piece of gear, you put an enchantment on, you level it up, you feel it. Things are impactful, and that's what I really like about this. The downsides: emeralds could use some work. There's no stash tabs, there's no force move, which all can be added in an update easily. The core of the game is brilliant, has a lot of replayability in my opinion, and it costs $20. Is it worth it? I'd say definitely. Or you can even get the $30 Hero Edition, which comes with, I think, some cosmetics and the future DLCs. So guys, Minecraft Dungeons, check it out. It's on Microsoft Store, Windows 10, Xbox, Switch, and maybe PS4. I'm not sure. Much love, guys. Take it easy, and I'll be no-living this and hopefully get a endgame 100% completion video up review for you guys. Take it easy. Murad out.